Hola from Colombia. I'm just joking. Right now, I'm in Dallas, Texas, but I'm starting the series called Colombia. And the reason why I'm starting the series called Colombia is because I love the culture and I want to share the experiences I had while I was in Colombia. I've been there multiple times, and I'm going to tell you why later. Please subscribe, share, comment on my video. I'll really appreciate if you do that. And let's get right into it. In 2018, I planned a group trip with four of my friends, and that was the first time I traveled to Colombia. And since then, I've been going back almost every year, and it's been amazing. So what I'm trying to do in this series is to share everything, I've gathered over the years and, pour it into you guys. And also my video is good for first time travelers and people that are trying to go to Colombia for the first time. So before you get into Cartagena, you need to check if you have access to Cartagena. Not every country have access to Cartagena. If you're an American citizen, you do not need to worry about getting a tourist visa, okay? And here's the website for you to check if you have the access to Colombia. If you want to find out if you do need a visa or not, you can go to Cancilleria Colombia and click on visa right here on Google. Then you have to click on requirement. When you click on requirement, then you check if I need a visa. Then you click on check list A, B, C. When you click on check list ABC, click on the A list and you see the countries that are exempted from short stay visas. So like I said earlier, United States of America do not need a visa to gain entry into Colombia amongst all these other countries. But if you're from a country like Nigeria, you do need a visa and you need to fill out your visa application, and this is the website you do that. One thing you need to do is to check if you have enough space, like enough booklets on stamped for entry. You need at least 2 empty booklets on your passport before you can travel. And also make sure your passport is not going to expire in the next 6 months. That's very important, unless you won't be able to fly. Check for the visa requirements, unless you won't gain entry into the country when you get to Colombia and you'll be sent back. Don't waste your money. But yeah, those are the things you want to make sure you do. You're flying into CTG. If you're flying to Cartagena, that's Rafael Núñez Airport in Cartagena. And yeah, I think with those things in place, you'll be good to, fly into Cartagena and enjoy your flight. So the first thing you want to do once you've gotten your passport situation, if you can gain entry into Colombia, you need to check for flight tickets. And the best way to do that, or the best way I do that, is by checking Google Flights. I check from Dallas to CTG. CTG is the airport code for Cartagena. Then you click on flights. Then I check for different months. If you're budget friendly, then you can pick on the dates that that are like the cheapest, or you can pick on the day. If you're not budget friendly, you can pick on the day you would love to travel. But as a traveler, you want to save a little money, you know what I'm saying? So right now I see a ticket from February 3rd to February 11th. That's like a week trip for $275 with Spirit, if you don't mind flying Spirits, and it's only gonna cost you $275. But if you're like picky, you can. Avianca is a good airline. You can fly with Avianca. You can fly with Delta, American Airline. Southwest do not fly to South America, so that's how you book your ticket. But usually I book directly from the airline after checking the price on Google Flights. So the average cost of flights flying from Dallas, Texas to Colombia, or flying from America to Colombia, should range between $300 to $700, depending on the tickets or the airline you book with. If you're wondering how long the flight takes from probably like Miami to Cartagena, it takes approximately about 3 to 4 hours. which I think, less than 4 hours for sure, probably like 3 hours to be honest. So you can fly into Miami and fly directly from Miami to Cartagena, or you can fly directly from Atlanta to Cartagena. You have to know that you have to fill out the check mig when you get to the airport, because you need that filled out before they allow you get into the country, and also have the right visa. That's very important. So when you get out from the baggage claim area, do not let anybody touch your bag. Do not change your money at the airport because you're going to get a lower rate. Do not allow anybody take you to a taxi cab, but there are tons of taxi cab. You can take a taxi cab in front of the airport, and do not let them, overcharge you. You shouldn't pay more than 20 to 30,000 pesos, which is like between $6 to $10. Do not pay more than that. You can also use InDrive. That's another app they use in Colombia, but I do recommend you using Uber. And yeah. So yeah, some accommodation recommendation. I do recommend you to stay in an Airbnb, but if you want, you can stay in an hotel. So I'm gonna show you how to look for accommodation. I go to Google as usual. Type in Airbnb. You can use Airbnb or bookings. I like to use Airbnb because that's just what I like. Then I click on stay and I type Cartagena, or you can see they give you the neighborhood, Boca Grande, Getsemani, or you can put El Centro. So I'm going to pick Boca Grande, and I'm just going to choose this date. It depends if you're going for like a week, and you can add the amount of guests if you're going alone or you're going with a guest. And you can see it's very affordable. I like ocean view. I like to stay in front of the ocean, so I'll probably go with something like this. Yeah, it's very beautiful, very clean, nice view. So yeah, see they have a sauna. Yeah, there are so many options you can choose from. This is also nice, right in front of the ocean. But I always like to go for aesthetic, front, ocean front or state. You can choose from here. You can stay here. You can stay in Casio Grande. You can stay in Manga. Manga is a good area. You can stay in El Centro. This is El Centro. You can stay in Getsemani. This is El Getsemani. And you can stay in Marbella, La Boquilla, all the way down here. See? You can stay in these regions. These are like the options. So many beautiful properties to choose from. And when it comes to transportation, there are a lot of cabs in Cartagena that cost like 10 to 20,000 pesos from the airport, depending on how far you're going to. The price may have increased, but as of the last time I went, it cost 20 to 25,000 pesos, which is like $5. And they do have Uber around the city. I do use Uber. So this advice is not just for solo travelers, it's also for like group of people, families. Do not be flashy with your items. Keep your item close. Be careful of scams in Cartagena. They do target like tourists for overpricing of, like I said earlier, the taxes. Be very firm with paying for the right prices. Ask around before you overly pay for your taxes. And also for tours, yeah, you could get scammed by inflated tour prices, so be careful of that as well. Before you book a tour, either book through your hotel or ask around before you book tours on the road, because you're going to be approached by a lot of tour guards. Guys, let's get right into the fun parts, the touristic things to do. Number one, I love the food. You can see how excited I am about talking about the food. Cartagena is an Afro-Colombian city, which means there are a lot of like black Colombians, and they do have a lot of food, culinary. Like Cartagena is a staple. When I tell you, if you love seafood, that is your city. You're gonna get fresh fish, fresh seafood, fresh shrimp, fresh lobster, fresh crabs, fresh everything, and tasty, fancy food. You can have access to cheap food on the streets, and you can have access to luxury restaurants in Cartagena, in the wall city. And you have access to food in Boca Grande. You have access to food in El Centro. You have access to food in Getsemani. Oh yes, I know a lot of places. But when it comes to food, best believe Cartagena is the city you're gonna have like their diverse food from not just seafood. They do have like good steak restaurant, good American restaurant. They do have Asian restaurant, and they have like local food, which is my favorite, from coconut rice to patacon, which is like the pressed plantain, to the fresh fish, which is my fave. But they do have varieties of food, and I can give you access to different restaurants like Juan del Mar. You guys must visit Juan del Mar. The second thing to do apart from the food is to take a tour. You can take the free walking tour in El Centro, the downtown free walking tour, or get some money free walking tour. You can do the volcano tour. You can also go to Palenque, which is 2 hours away. You can do the day trips to the islands, which I love so much. And you can do the food tour in Basorto Market. That's where you go around the market to see how the market is in Cartagena. And you do like a food tour, food tasting tour. And you can do the street food tour as well, where you taste the different culinary food on the streets of Cartagena. You can do the party tour. They do have like the party thing around Cartagena where you go from one club or one tasting stuff in Cartagena. Like there's so many, there are countless of things to do in Cartagena. But the downside is, especially going to the beach, you're gonna get bothered. You're gonna get persistent street vendors that are always like on you, like it icks me. I'm like, can I have a peace and quiet on the beach? They're not gonna let you breathe. But they do have some private beaches that you can go to, which is like, yeah, Etika Beach. You can book a private time in Etika Beach so you can stay far away from the stress of the vendors. I do have a hidden gem for you. If you're artistic, if you're a little bit hippie, if you like to meet the locals, if you like to be a little bit more street, go to the Getsemani neighborhood. That's my favorite neighborhood. Getsemani, it's like a merge of the locals and the touristic people that are into the artsy stuff. I love Getsemani because it gives that street vibrant type. It gives there are a lot of like clubs there, party scene, b-boys doing their thing, people doing yoga, like it's just a vibe. When you're looking for the vibe, you can get it in the old town and you can also get it in Getsemani. Guys, let's get into a little bit of history. Cartagena was established in the year 1553 during the Spanish colonization and the transatlantic slave trade. The reason why the wall city was built was to fend off the pirates' attacks in Cartagena. I'm going to talk about the Palenque people. The Palenque people are the descendants of the first free African slaves during the transatlantic slave trade. They resided in San Palenque de Basilio, which is the first free African town in the whole of the Americas. They do have their own different language, which I believe is a mixture of Spanish-based language, but has the characteristics of the Bantu language, which it can be found in the sub-Saharan region of Africa. So they have like, hey, I learned a song while I went there. It's like, Tutasca bien. I don't know. I can't remember, but it was like so cool. The experience was so cool. I went there with my family. Like I've been there like 2 times now. I went there with my friend when I was living in Colombia. Yes, I lived in Colombia for 2 years. And I also went there this year with my family, my friends and family. And it was such a good experience. I do recommend everybody going. Like if you're into the African history vibe, or you want to know more about the African history in Colombia, I do recommend you visiting Palenque and you meet the Palenqueros. We got to play their sounds, their style of music, which is called champeta, which is very close to the Congolese music. And it was just an awesome experience. The food was good, the vibe was good, the music, the women dancing, and we took a picture with the women. It was just amazing. It was an amazing experience, and I do recommend you going there to, you know, have a good tour. Then after that, you meet with the locals. Make sure you're like, friendly with the local, be respectful. Whenever you go to any country, you have to be respectful of the people's tradition, their culture, their way of life. Be respectful to the people you meet there. Try to get to know them, be nice, try to learn their language, speak a little bit, buenos dias, good morning, buenas tardes, good afternoons, like cuánto cuestas, how much does it cost? Hola, hello, ¿cómo estás? How are you? Just try and learn like the basic Spanish so you can, have like a good familiarity with the people in the city. Yeah, that's like, if you're going for like 3-4 days trip, like, quick getaway, that's like a good itinerary to have. Yeah, but if you're going for longer, join me in my next episode.